All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Megalo Box, Season 2, Episode 13, the finale.
All right, the Nomad has found his way home.
That's right.
And,
both of them.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, exactly. So now it's time to have one fight his hero and one step back into the ring.
And fight someone that really, who could possibly fight. Yeah. Mac time's terrifying.
And yet we are in a situation where both of them are carrying stuff. What will be let loose in the ring and what will be let go of in the ring?
Hopefully no lives.
Yeah. Hopefully. But yeah, grab your popcorn and do your dumb dance in front of a window.
Bitch, because that's the last time you'll ever get to do it.
Yeah, this is gonna be a doozy. And this could be the series finale potentially for this show because season 2 definitely did not need to happen.
Nope.
So
boy, are we glad it did.
This could be it. So yeah. Heads up, everybody. The show coming after this has already been decided. It will be Zombieland Saga Season 2. This has been a trilogy of sequel shows, and this is the second one of the 3. So, go check that out if you're interested. But yeah, all right. Y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, no way!
Oh, yes!
Yes!
Yeah! We gotta have him brought in. Oh!
Yep.
Uh-huh.
The gear looks different. Yep. But it's definitely Chief's gear, yeah.
Oh!
The real boxer, nice, yeah, I like it. Oh boy. Oh, nice. Alright, so Yukiko came to see him. Yeah. Uh-huh. Wow. Oh! Okay.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Hummingbird, nice. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Oh, the respect, I love it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Of course.
All right.
Of course.
And we're actually getting the OP. Wow.
Let's go. Oh, so light on their feet. Nice. Oh, nice.
Like that they're showing
That's
the
a cool
footwork.
technical thing. I didn't know Mac was an outboxer. Oh.
Way to go.
Yeah. Way to go. Let's go. Yep. Yeah, this is huge. Okay. I like this. They're all jabs and... Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. So they were told.
Yeah.
Wow.
They still decided to do it.
Wow. Yes.
吉村さん、
Oh.
あなたのことは朝本さんから聞きました。そ
Yeah.
の上で あなたにお願いしたいことがあります。俺を観察し続けたあなたにしかできないことです。
数値はすべて正常です。マックタイムが起きると判断した時には何があっても試合を止めますので。
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yes, that's perfect. Oh, so it's gonna be all him.
But that's also a way that they could think Mac time's happening, but no, the numbers are normal, you know? Okay, maybe not.
He's getting hit in the head, too.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Oh!
Whoa! Oh!
That was close, though. If
I
that
think
had
he
hit.
cut him a little bit. Oh,
Wait,
shit.
what?
Oh, shit! Breathe, buddy, breathe. I didn't even make contact necessarily. He just got scared. Wow. It's like it's happening all over again.
Come on, dude.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Sachio! Yeah! Oh! Wow!
ですが、ベスに罪はありません。
取引ですか。
ベスのライセンスを手放せば、あなたがマック選手にした非道な振る舞いは公表しません。
Damn!
マック選手
Oh shit!
Oh!
ジョーとの試合は俺のやり方でやらせてもらう。
Whoa!
Oh my god!
That's a ruthless move!
Yeah! Okay, alright. Good stuff.
Trading now. How are his numbers? How are his numbers? Oh shit.
Yeah, because I guess it's not a question of whether they'd go into dangerous levels, but like...
Oh no.
夢だったんです。ただジョーと同じリングで戦いたい。俺の最後の
Final wish. No, 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 no. Don't say it like that.
家族を失いたくない。それを
They
忘れ
could
な
lose
けれ
you,
ば
man.
俺は俺でいられるはず。
It's like a sea. It's like a sea. It was like the ocean. Did you see that? Oh.
Okay. Alright.
Oh no, he's still slack there.
Oh, yeah!
Oh! Whoa! Whoa!
Oh!
Oh, that combination! Oh, oh. Shit! Was that Mac time? Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, but he's lucid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think he did.
No.
そうじゃありません。説明がつかないんです。数値は正常なままなのに、
Yeah!
今のようにパフォーマンスが上がるなんて。
Yes!
Holy crap. Oh! Oh, what a fight!
最後の試合だ。
Ah!
俺は俺のままジョー。
Ah!
Okay! Alright!
God, it's so fast. Oh. 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 Okay, we're getting this thing again.
打たれに行ってる。
やっぱりあんたは昔と何にも変わってい
Yeah.
ない。
He's just a junk dog. What can he say?
Wow.
Alright.
Wow. Oh.
生きてんだろ。今日。
Oh.
You can't do that! You can't do that!
Don't look. Just don't look. Okay. Okay, okay. Wow.
Okay.
決めるのはお前だっておっちゃんが隣にいて
Oh.
そう言われた気がして
Thank you.
いるさ
He is right next to you, yeah.
All right.
おかえり
He is back.
All right.
長い旅だったな
Okay.
Perfect. That's perfect. The hero, yeah.
Yep, passing it on.
Yep.
ベスの問題点を解決しもう一度社会に還元するために医療目的を限定として世界中の研究者に
Oh, that's even better.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
ありがとう
Wow.
社長がくだされた英断に敬意を
Yeah.
表します
Yeah, huge respect. That is incredible.
今度休みが取れたらスニーカー買いに付き合ってくれない
She's
でようやくヒールから解放されますね
stepping
じゃあ
down.
ね朝本社長
Whoa. Whoa, brilliant. Oh.
すぐにケツ割って戻ってきたら承知しないからな
分かってるって
Oh.
アバチさんの顔潰すわけにはいかない
Oh, yeah, yeah.
こいつ
Perfect.
いいのジョー社長を行かせちゃって
そうだよまたバラバラになっちゃうかも
Nah.
たとえそうなってもここがお前らの帰る場所だ気が向いた時に顔を出せばいいそうだろ
Hmm.
ジョーも
All right.
社長と一緒にさ
途中までな
Ah.
俺はチーフの墓参りに行くから
All right.
ちゃんと帰ってくるよ
は別に心配なんかしてないんだけど
No. No, not at all. Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh.
みんなおかえり
New gaggle of kids.
悪かったな
Nice.
随分世話になっ
Nice.
来るまではずっとうちの施設で暮らしたいって言ってたけどやっぱりここがあの子たちの家なのね
Oh.
たあ
Okay. Wow.
Oh. That's perfect. Yes.
Back here.
Sure. Yeah. Hummingbird.
Uh-huh.
Nice. Oh. Edison, yeah. Building back up.
脳チップからの電気信号が各部位に伝達される際被験者の記憶
Ah, cool.
All right.
History principles of. Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, they really are sending off everybody.
Yeah.
Oh. Another 10 years, we'll get a season 3. You know?
Hi. This is wonderful.
Rise up. Yeah. Oh,
All right.
my heart is so full.
Yeah.
Oh, now we go to Vinland. Yes, yes.
大事に乗れよ
Ah, crossroads. Yeah, passing on the bike
Oh.
too.
またな
Yeah.
じゃあ
またな
Oh.
All right.
寂しくなっちまうな
Oh.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that was such a
That
good.
was- wonderful.
I think this makes history. I've never seen a show get continued in this way
Yep.
and actually like surpass its own limits.
Yeah, so much stick the landing, and I love that it truly ended things, right? Because this season didn't need to happen,
Yeah,
and-
now
and-
now it's over.
and now it's over.
Now it's
That's
over.
it.
Wow.
It's
Oh my god.
It's not easy to open a package back up like that and then wrap it up again prettier than it was.
I know. All right, that was a really good way to end this.
Yep,
good way to end this.
That's a series ending right there.
Yep.
Like there's it touched on every character. We got to see where they were at. A lot of them had some big changes that make sense to come about, and okay, good for them. And okay. That's that, right? Because it wasn't really about the outcome of the match in the first place, right? Like I loved that. We spent a decent amount of time on the match, and the punches and everything, they were really cool. It was gripping,
right?
But no, we don't need this to go a particular way.
Yeah, I really love how almost in some ways. There's a weird perspective that I have on this fight that I think is totally not intended, but it's a different way of looking at it. In that this fight, in a lot of ways, feels a lot like a rigged match, in where we have the biggest, most emotional, impactful ending that gives people a lot of that leaves people with a specific feeling.
Okay.
And that is hope. That's the idea that Mac needed to win this fight.
Okay.
So the towel being thrown in by Sachio, in some ways, is almost like a thing of where, Joe didn't necessarily need to win. He had nothing that he was doing here other than in some ways satisfying this man's wishes.
Right, and having fun, basically, right? Because he enjoys being in the ring, and I love that they had that.
Right, but this was a fight that, in some ways, it's better that Mac wins.
Yep.
Because why would Joe get back into Megalo boxing?
No, you don't need to
do this. He doesn't have to. No.
Yeah, do it because you enjoy it, but you don't need to start that career up again.
Nope.
What happened. It felt like Sachio throwing in the towel and having the whole okay, do I do it? Do I don't?
And then Nanbu.
And then Nanbu being there to sort of pass on the decision to him. I love that because it's something where a lot of the characters in this show have struggled with acceptance, right? Like not like being accepted by others, but like with accepting themselves and where they're at, right? And by Sachio throwing in the towel, I feel like it's something where he's both accepting where Joe's at. Joe's accepted where he's at because he's doing this for fun, but at the same time, hey, you're not going to win this fight. No. It's Mac is too strong. He's too good, right? And you do it and you get into it and that's awesome. But at the same time, there's more than just boxing, and I care about you. Yeah. So I'm gonna throw in the towel for you. I waited. I didn't do it for a while because it's like, okay, maybe you can go farther. But there you go. And it feels like such a kind of like a twist ending, if you will.
Sure.
Because we didn't see that much of the fight before the towel was thrown in.
No.
But at the same time, with the build up to the fight, it didn't need to go a particular way anyways, right? Like other than, maybe Mac winning, for the hope of everything, and then also maybe him not using Mac time. Like not actually having that stuff happen.
Mac
right?
won the second he had what's her name in his corner, basically making sure that he wasn't going to go into Mac time. Yeah.
And there you go.
And they each knocked each other down. So as far as the fights, progression, they both had a leg on each other in terms of
in different areas and ways,
figuring out ways to deal with each other. So Mac, kind of gave Joe a scare there,
right?
Which made him remember his Edison fight and how that went. But then, Mac kind of letting himself kind of get hit in the same kind of weak spot that Edison hit him as well, kind of just showing the way these people are all connected. And I really love how they tied everything up with the bow, with the Hummingbird Nomad imagery. There was a lot in this show that was very metaphorical and getting a lot about the human condition. But the idea that the journey had essentially reached the end of this chapter while also feeling like it could be the end of everyone's journey for us. Like, we don't get to see the rest of the journey here because they've all found their homes, they've all found their places, they've returned back to where they belong. And yet some of them are going on to new horizons. And that's really exciting because that wasn't their journey. They weren't needing to be the Nomad or the Hummingbird in their cases.
Right. Or the CEO or, or whatever, right? They do that, they do that for a while and then they realize, you know what? I'm going to try something else.
Yeah. I really loved the idea of taking responsibility as well because that was something that was not just for Yukiko and McBitchface. Right. Because obviously they needed to take responsibility for their part that they played in this. But the other side of things as well, in that Joe needed to give basically something back to Sachio and to all these kids. And that's something that he's going to be doing here. This isn't some kind of atonement.
Nope.
I loved the twisted way in which McBitchface kept trying to bring up atone for sins and sins and all this stuff.
Right.
Like, what's with all this like religious kind of terminology? Why don't you just bring it down into the basic facts here? You did something illegal.
Right.
For the purpose of your project or what have you. But what do you care about more then?
Yeah. Take responsibility. You can't make this right because what's done is done.
Yeah, and what I kind of like about this is that in some ways Yukiko got to him and basically was like, "Oh, okay, so you'll do anything for BES? Anything? Even take responsibility?
Sure. Even lose your stake in it?
Go? Yeah, lose your stake in it, lose your money, lose your status, lose everything."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I loved the thing of also opening up the code and everything.
Oh yeah, that was great. That's beautiful. Because the good stuff that McBitchface had going for him is that this is actually something that could be really helpful.
Yes,
right?
The BES technology is something that will help people.
It is important to feed that in a healthy way so that way it can develop and things like that because a lot of people will get a lot of benefit from it.
Right.
But it doesn't mean you have to be like profiting off of it because as was shown, once you start doing that, then you're also not actually doing the most helpful thing for the technology because you're not, figuring out how to fix these problems with it.
You're just trying to avoid the backlash that would then make people like from your investors or your company board of directors or what have you be like, no, we can't do this project now because it's no longer going to be profitable because people won't want to purchase it because of the negative backlash.
Right. Or put another way, you're disappearing into another town and drowning yourself in drugs and alcohol so that you don't have to deal with the fact that you did someone dirty.
Yep.
And the fact that the show is able to take Joe's whole plight and everything and the mistakes that he made and tie it into such a fundamentally different kind of character that's the antagonist and show how they're similar. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's
I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, there's something wonderful about the way this season took Joe and didn't just reimagine him, but kind of broke him down a little bit as well. Because it was in a kind of a reverse order than how it usually goes in these types of stories. When you have the washed up kind of boxer or the washed up, superhero basically, which kind of Joe was.
Right.
He was superhuman and a hero to so many people.
Fights without gear.
Fights without the gear, which is like impossible, you know?
Right.
Well, we break him down to his human components, which is that he doesn't really actually have that much because of the way his character was kind of a stand-in as an homage to, the previous show, the Ashita no Joe.
Yeah.
So he's not really a character yet.
Right.
He is kind of. There is a lot to Joe in season 1, but they broke him down to the smallest component and then allowed Chief, this wonderful new character, to just have him collect the pieces. Basically be like, hey, this is who you are right here. All this is you. What are you going to do with this? Because you have so much you can do with this.
Oh, yeah.
And here we are. We now know who Joe is.
That's right.
I love this so much because characters drove the entire plot of this story.
Yep, they really did.
It was,
the first season definitely had the cool factor and everything, right? But the characters were just one of the legs of the table, right?
Yeah.
And for this one, it was all of them.
It was you could maybe argue that because they kind of needed to time skip a little bit to set the stage for all of this, that maybe there was a bit of scaffolding that needed to happen so that these characters could actually feel different than the
Sure.
you know, other characters, but because of the way they cleverly weaved in the flashbacks to give us that tale, if you will,
Right.
of the Nomad and the Hummingbird along the way, I think this is like masterpiece when it comes to anime sequels.
Also,
because somehow it literally did the show
Right.
so much better than the first one.
Yeah,
that it's almost like I'm actually like now almost reconsidering my opinion on whether or not this should be the end, because I'm like, but it's so good, but because
like,
it's a
this
new
is a
show,
perfect ending, and
you could also continue it. Because I'm like greedy for having anime like this.
Right.
So I'm
It's-
like,
I feel like it's a tricky
know.
balance of choosing your battles, right? Because most series, when they get continuations, do not have this. They're lucky if they even have it be as good as the original, right? Usually it's a maybe slow but steady decline. Sometimes it's catastrophically awful.
Right, because in some way, like, there are very few shows that are actually like this, because the adaptation, if you will, is like more of a celebration of like a 50-year anniversary thing.
Right.
So the adaptation is no longer happening. Like, there's nothing to like draw from.
Like,
so this is original in a lot of ways, even though it's kind of a continuation of you know, the first season. So
right.
Yeah.
And so having something where it's not just as good, but it's better. It makes the first season also better by being connected to it.
Yep.
And then also resolves it at the end, and this is all done in the one cour.
Right.
That blows my goddamn mind.
Yeah.
Because I have been burned so many times with you know, being like, oh yeah, this story is perfect, and then I hear about there being like a sequel, right? And not perfect, but like perfect to me, you know.
Yeah, it's a special to you,
Right.
and then season 2, the second movie, or
right,
the
and
next
I just
book, or
hear
what
about
have
it, and
you.
I'm like, oh god, no.
Why?
And that's why I was so worried about like this season happening, right?
Same,
Because
yep.
it's like, no, you don't need it. You did your story, and it's done.
Yep.
Right. But I'm so glad we got this.
Yeah.
Like, what's not to like? You know.
Right. I honestly can't complain about much of anything with this story. I honestly think that the one thing that I would have wanted maybe a slightly different thing of is I actually would have loved to have different imagery in the OP. That's my one gripe about this show. That's it. That's it.
Sure. Yeah.
I
No,
literally
no, I
cannot
getcha.
complain about like anything in this show.
Right. Like
I
even okay, this is one of the other things that I just sort of thought about, like when we were talking about like the how this episode went and the season went and everything.
Right.
In the first season, Joe was a lot more of like a mythic, like protagonist, right? Because it's I fight without the gear, right? You know, and just how could you do that? And they did a good job in this season of showing just what that was like to witness that for all of the
Right.
other people.
he became a hero, a legend. Yeah.
Exactly. But in the first season, one of the things that felt kind of odd about the gear that made it feel like also a natural progression to we're going to fight without the gear is that the gear would constantly break down.
Yes,
right?
that's true.
And because they didn't have much money, they couldn't afford that, so it also kind of worked, you know?
Yep.
But if you liken the gear to maybe being people, Joe fought without the gear before because he didn't need it. He did not break
right.
down,
Yeah.
right? You know, he was a mythic figure. Here, no. He did fight with the gear because he does break down.
Yes.
And this season was about putting him back together, right?
Right.
Like, I don't know. There's just something about
Yeah.
this season that just
it just clicked.
It just clicked for me,
It all
you
just
know?
fell just
Yeah.
so perfectly into place.
and all of that while still keeping the wonderful style and music and
Yep.
hype and all of that stuff that you know was great about the first season. So
Right.
yeah. And the show didn't really do too much of like having a like villain, you know, if it didn't need it.
didn't really retread at all any of the things that you typically find in a boxing story.
And like the first season, you know, not that like Yuri was much of a villain in the first season or anything like that either, but like when it came to Mac versus Joe, that final match was not where the conflict was. It wasn't. No. It was all the stuff leading up to it. It was the stuff, you know, Yukiko talking to Mick Bitchface and everything.
I loved so much the Mac entering the room, and then it's just like, yes, he knows he's going into the fight intentionally. Of course, they would tell him, right? Yes, this is so good. Yes. Like, of all the things that just makes perfect sense for them to go through, and it's like, well, yeah, that was the thing I should have predicted. If anything,
exactly.
I can't believe I didn't predict that.
There was a part of me that not like really worried, but just kind of like curious of like with the previous episode, not actually having the fight. And also having all of these other things that were like character decisions that we didn't actually see the results of. We figured that like the secretary was going to give the the actual data and things like that, right? But we didn't actually show it, right? I was just thinking, how are they going to fit it all in there? Have that stuff happen? Have the fight happen in a way that doesn't feel like rushed or anything.
Yeah.
Have like hopefully Mara and her son, like see the fight too, and
Maya,
Maya, that's right.
Yeah.
And then also tie up all of the epilogue stuff at the end in one episode. How are they going to do that?
We did
like this apparently
rapidly, really quickly. Like in some ways, this is the thing I could see someone else maybe critiquing, and I would
I wanted more boxing.
No, it's just that this episode was way too quick. Like there was just a lot of things that felt rushed, and I don't have any issue with this episode's pacing. I was just more impressed that they got everything in this episode.
I feel like the prep they did in the previous episode made it so that they didn't have to spend a lot of time.
Because I thought this was going to be just all execution anyway, because of the way the previous episode was set up. Like the last 2 episodes especially were like peak storytelling with how they set up this episode. In fact, probably my favorite part that was slow in this episode is the actual ending. Is the bit where they're sitting around the table and they're talking about what's going on. There's a lot of conversations overlapping, and it's oh no, I'm not gonna be sad or anything, and going, and then it's like, oh, you're gonna go with Sachio? Well, just for a little bit, see him off, and then the actual handing off the bike.
Yep.
Saying goodbye, but it's actually like see you later.
Right.
And it's just I love so much that Sachio grew into this wonderfully complex and beautiful character, and I know he was a wonderful character in season 1.
Yeah, loved Sachio. Yeah.
But I am impressed with how well we did you betrayed us and the family kind of melodrama in the off-screen backstory stuff.
Yeah, that stuff is really hard to do.
And brought it into the forefront and then redeemed it all within the one court. And in some ways, they did it even faster than that because we had the whole chief subplot that was kind of the backdrop.
Right, it was priming the pump, making it so
for the stuff that we could understand that Joe went through a lot of shit in the last, few
Exactly.
years.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think this season was masterfully done. I really have no critiques. I just want to introduce people to season 1 and be like, okay, so I know this is a typical boxing kind of thing.
It's fun.
But the music is really good. The art is really wonderful, and there's some really cool things that will surprise you in this first season. But that's the second season. I really want you to be ready and just understand that this show that ends here gets a second season, and it's
right.
It's like a 10 out of 10. It's actually it's actually pretty close to a 10 out of 10. It's
I can't imagine what people would actually say that they don't like about this.
I think it would have to be something tied to the ending here. Because I really can't.
Right. Like a boxing fan that was like, oh, I was actually really excited for a hype fight because, Mac was built up to be this terrifying boxer and everything, and, or something along those lines.
Right. It's you could have spent, a little bit more time on the boxing, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe the OP didn't need to be played again that one time, and they could have spent an extra 60 seconds in the ring or something like that.
Yeah, that's such a nitpick.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But... oh man,
that's see, if your worst critique is that I wanted more,
right, and
your show's pretty dang good.
And the thing is that with how this went, I'm so torn because on the one hand I'm like, don't touch anything else. This is wonderful,
great, yeah.
And yet because the show already did it and made it work, I'm like, okay. Maybe
can you do that again?
Yeah, maybe you don't continue this story. Maybe you tell Sachio's journey. Maybe you tell Edison's story as he's getting back into the ring. Whatever, right? Joe can be the new person in the corner that's helping train them and all that stuff with Yuri maybe. and whatever, right?
Oh, you know what? Oh my god. I just realized. This is so perfect. There's so many little things about this show that you could just hyper-analyze and get good little stuff out of. This is the story of the Nomad. That's what the season was called.
Right.
And one of the things that is very, like, obvious in the simplest sense that, there's a nice little phrase, nomad of nowhere, right?
Okay.
So someone that is basically a nomad with no home, basically.
Yeah.
The gym
Hence
is called
Nomad.
Nowhere, right?
Okay, yeah.
So what happened at the end here was a lot of people who were nomads finally came home. The Hummingbird brought them home, right? Now, how many people became nomads actually at the end of this season?
Nice. Well, yeah, you could say quite a few, and you could also say none of them because they always have the home to go back to.
Because they have nowhere to go back to.
Wow.
Specifically Sachio.
Yeah, I like it. That's cool.
It's just a fun little thing, and I was like, oh, Sachio's kind of taking up his own version of what Joe did at the end of season 1.
Yeah.
You see the slight difference there, though? And the fact then that it's the see you later.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
There were so many cool little things in this just show. That,
This was a treat.
Yeah, this was a treat.
This was an absolute treat.
I loved the little deal of Asamoto being the president of Shirato Industries. And it might end up being not Shirato Industries anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's a really cool way to utilize a character that's been kind of just there in the sidelines as like a...
Yeah, Shirato didn't really interact with any of the other characters in the show. She was dealing with McBitchface.
Mikio, McBitchface, and her assistant, basically.
Right, and that was more or less it.
Yeah. So it was a cool way to basically be like, wait, but she's just abandoning... No, she's not abandoning. She's doing the same thing that Joe's doing. She's leaving it up to the next group.
That's
which
right.
I feel like in some ways is maybe a fix on some of the critiques of season 1 in that if that's a celebration of sorts, they kinda, I would say, could have done the ending of season 1 a little bit better, where they're like,
sure,
we're gonna have an ending that is a send-off instead of just a celebration of the past.
Okay.
This is a hope for the future ending.
Gotcha.
So instead of just having a celebration of something that finished 50 years ago, why don't we have an ending that basically sends off anyone that was a fan of Ashita no Joe and then Megalo Box and be like, all right, now go.
Right. And maybe that could have
free.
been one of the big reasons why maybe season 2 was made. Is they're like, you know what? There's something we could do with this.
We could do this ending just a little bit better.
Yeah. We bring it back in, make it be something that's more than just the show that was an homage to Ashita no Joe, but this
we'll make our own thing out of it.
This is now Megalo Box.
Yeah, I just feel like it's something that ties perfectly well in with the themes of everything because, well, we literally had our characters broken down to the bottom of everything that they've ever been.
We really did.
And then they built back up to where now they're all hopeful about where their future is going. So they can't get lost.
My one critique, not really, is that I didn't know that the last time we heard the ED was the last time we were going to hear the ED.
Yeah, so the ED that we got this time was a new original one.
Right, which was great. It was fantastic, and I loved how it was done and everything.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
But then it's just so I guess that was the last time. Okay.
Yep. I'm butchering the Spanish, but
Yeah. But that, because this show, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Tell everyone about this show.
Yes.
I really want to know. Do you guys want a season 3 though? Like, do you guys want a season 3?
And what would you want it to cover? Because they did resolve 80% of the characters in very much they're not going to deal with boxing in the future.
I don't feel like you really need to go through anyone other than Sachio. Edison is a very small character.
Yeah, because he wasn't. Yeah, he's important in the boxing world, but he's not.
He's not a season 1 character.
He's not a season 1 character, and he didn't get that much character focus in this season either.
Yeah. In some ways, he's just one that has hope now.
Exactly. He's thematically relevant and has an ending of he will continue, his life will continue, he'll take his career back and everything.
But I loved Yukiko with the kids. Oh, that was sweet. But really I would say Sachio's adventure, Sachio's journey,
but at the same time, we don't need
we
to see
don't
that.
need to see that.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, because he's going to go and become a mechanic or whatever. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Just.
Hey, if you want to surprise me, like I said, in 10 years with the season 3,
Right.
that's just...
We didn't want a season 2 in the first place.
Just
So it's
time
like,
skips
you know, we
to
got to hold
older
this with a grain
Sachio.
of salt. But, yeah.
Right. But, masterful anime.
Yep.
Highly recommend that you and yours, whoever's watching this, share this show with more people, because I think a lot of people sometimes think anime has to look and feel a specific way. And this was probably the least Japanese anime I've ever seen. We had a focus on immigrants as the storyline. We had a large portion of the story told with a Hispanic, tone of the music, the culture. There was a lot in
it's
this
a good
that
point.
just felt like this is one of the things of the next evolution of anime.
Right.
Is that it can be made with focusing on characters that are set in an area that has not necessarily anything to do with Japan, and yet it can be so evocative and feel so relevant in our time. Like that is just incredible.
I'm very curious what the dub's like, because if the dub is really good, then yeah, you could show this to somebody and
I don't think there's a dub yet.
Okay. But like if there was, or when there is, right? And if it's good, you could show this to someone, not even tell them it's anime. They wouldn't know, right? Like if they're used to like anime OPs and EDs, maybe, and like not that you wouldn't like that'd be a bad thing to tell them.
Yeah, they're speaking in such a way that you can tell that the dub is not going to match up perfectly to the lip flaps, though.
Sure, that's true.
So you're going to be able to tell.
Right, but
level.
I feel like it's something where it really, like maybe the first season, that's a bit more anime like, but I feel like you could totally get someone to this show that doesn't necessarily like anime, but they like cartoons. Although I feel like if they like cartoons, they'll probably end up liking anime. But
yeah. I'm just really impressed how this show took something that I didn't believe could get this good. And now I'm like, wait, is this the best anime of its year, basically?
Yeah, I really feel like this is probably...
It's a contender.
And as far as sequels, I don't think you can do much better. Like, not necessarily, like, on its own as a whole, like, okay, because then you're comparing different things. As far as what it did for the first season versus what I've seen of other sequels do for the earlier material.
That's what you could argue, is that it's not truly a sequel, it's actually more of a spin-off.
Kind of, yeah. That's
maybe the one thing that you could say is that it's actually more of a spin-off in terms of its plot structure. And
like it feels like a new show, but at the same time, you want to watch the first season before you watch this one.
Oh yeah. But, I definitely think you could get a lot out of this season without watching season 1.
But it wouldn't be the same.
You really need to watch season 1.
Right, exactly. It would still be a great experience, but you don't want to do yourself the disservice of potentially, reducing this down from a 10 to a 8.5 or something like that, But
yeah, please make sure they watch season 1, whoever you're recommending this to.
Yeah.
Right,
there we go.
That's enough gushing about this show. It was wonderful.
Yep.
And Mac had a happy ending.
Which I'm so happy he did. And they did the thing of no, you'd think he was using Mac time, but he's actually not.
No.
Hell yeah. Because he brought his family into it.
He did.
But
I loved that imagery as well of them being across the blue divide to call back to the story of, come to the edge of the sea.
Yep.
Do you need to cross over? No. They're right there. You see them.
Yeah.
It's fine. They were brought to you. The Hummingbird brought them there. And then, of course, the thing that's been there all along on Chief's gear, Hummingbird. So, yeah. But y'all, if you want to see the first episode's reaction to Zombieland Saga Season 2, a completely different style of show.
Very different.
We had a sequels poll we did a while back, and that was the final one of the 3 that was on that list. So, if you want to see the first episode's reaction to that right now, go check out the link in the description below. For our Patreon, you can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.